sweatshirts. We got you fixed up.
Man in
Be sure
cave?
to check them out.
What is Man in Cave? It's an hour long. This video meets the criteria. The video is satire and a journalistic nature. The following is not an endorsement or condoning of harassment towards individuals featured in this video. Please behave yourselves.
In the state of Kentucky, there is a cave.
Yeah.
That every now and then demands a sacrifice.
Oh, okay. Alright. Eldritch horror tree.
January 30th,
cave. It's not a tree.
1925. A man walks towards the cave with a kerosene lamp in his hand.
And he goes missing. The cave eats him.
He hangs up his jacket and ducks into
Where?
a 5-foot opening.
Okay.
The inside of the cave is narrow. He has to drop down on his hands and knees, crawling through a passageway filled with jagged rocks and choking dust.
And a kerosene lamp?
Then down a chute he had cleared out months earlier.
Okay. So he's been here before.
All of the daylight is gone from here.
Yeah, but he's got his lamp.
This lantern is his only source of light.
And it's gonna break.
Ignoring the loose limestone rocks perched directly above him, he is now 100 feet in. And here he reaches the turnaround.
I'm getting claustrophobic.
Now they call this the turnaround room because this is the juncture where even experienced cavers say,
nope,
no thanks,
I'm good,
and turn around.
I turn around.
Because to continue
me
on
too.
Means going through this.
The squeeze.
The squeeze.
The squeams.
A gap in the stone of only 9 inches.
Yeah, cool. Like
For
me.
reference,
That's how much I can take. 12 inches, nice.
Going through, he would
I can
look
also take that.
exactly like this. His arms will need to be completely at their side, and he will need to exhale so that he can reduce the size of his torso.
Yeah, don't. How about you just
Gradually,
don't? Okay, never mind.
Bit by bit,
he went.
He disappears into the hole.
Yeah, he's just putting himself into it.
He's just on sharp gypsum crystals.
He's just like, my grave time.
Into him and threatening to hold him in place. But using his feet like paddles.
I can feel my grave calling me.
He reaches a wider opening at the other side.
The real guy. There he is. He's
then
real.
Crawls forward towards a ledge.
Who took that picture?
Illuminated here is a 10-foot drop.
Nice.
A rope is already secured around a boulder.
How?
Which allows him to rappel down.
I guess some people have already made it through the squeams.
His worn-out leather shoes touch the ground. This is as far as he can go. And it is time for work to begin. What he is working on is another opening.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's too small for anyone to fit through.
Okay.
But he will chip away at it until he can shove himself right through the other side.
I love Minecraft. This is all
side
Minecraft is.
Is this?
What is it? What,
a
limestone?
Magnificent and otherworldly cave structure that will be irresistible to tourists.
How the fuck?
Day
How are you
months,
gonna get? How are you going to get investors here?
To him, this is all just routine. So he eases further into the gap. Carefully, he contorts his body through.
He's gonna get.
This is nightmarish. So close that his arms are pinned
we're only.
to the side of his body.
We're only like.
He once again.
We're only like 3 minutes into this
down.
hour-long video, and I'm
About
already
halfway,
getting.
he
I'm
stops.
already getting like.
The lantern. It's starting to dim. He will need to go all the way back to the surface to refuel the thing.
Yeah, you should.
He sighs. He slowly shuffles back out, pushing the lantern with his shoulder. Then, oh no.
Oh no.
Dim, crack, darkness. He has knocked over the lamp, and it has broken. Now the man didn't panic. He had been caught in the dark before, and he could make his way back by feel alone. So he continues worming out, leveraging his foot against what he thinks is the cave wall.
Oh no. Oh no.
But that is not the cave wall. That is in fact a rock protruding from the ceiling. As soon as he puts his weight against the rock, it breaks loose.
Yeah.
A solid piece weighing 15 kilograms lands directly on his ankle.
He's dead.
It aches, but he's okay. It doesn't feel as though his ankle is broken, just
yeah, but
badly
it's stuck.
bruised and caught underneath the rock.
And it's 33
so
pounds.
To move the rock away. Suddenly,
no, more roof.
A lot of gravity.
He's dead.
It falls onto his feet, his legs, his torso, and the weight of it all forces the wedged rock deeper into the gap underneath his foot. Pinned, he tries to push forward. He cannot. He tries to inch backwards. He cannot.
I can feel my grave.
He's stuck.
Death.
This is Sand Cave. This man is Floyd Collins. He is trapped in
Rip
absolute
Floyd.
darkness.
But he's out and he's dead.
60 feet deep below the earth.
Yeah.
All of his limbs held in place.
Ooh.
At the very bottom of this.
The squeams. Turnaround room. Should have just turned around there. The chute? Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a big no.
But before I tell you what happens next, ad time.
Oh, ad time? Alright, I can go get water.
World of Tanks. World of Tanks is not only the best game I have ever played, it is the only game I have ever played. It's like cars, but tanks. Picture this. You're a hot new T-34-85M, and you've just joined the battle because some Cromwell B tank-bagged your entire family. It's time for revenge. You must use strategy. You must use stealth. You must use your wits to defeat your enemies. Use long range or short range. It's available on console, but I want you to get it on PC. Imagine a world war, but there are tanks involved this time. Yeah, now you get it. When you've seen as many messed up tanks as I have, you get a little cynical about the world. My God, I'm gonna be sick. Look at all the different tanks. You can collectomize and customize them all. Massive battles where you can constantly team kill and ruin other people's good time.
What the f***? I'm on your f***! Yeah!
Did I mention it's historically accurate? Especially the Japanese robot tanks. Ooh, look. The tanks are kissing. Progressive.
Oh, dude, two tanks kissing? Oh my god, that's like two trucks having sex.
250k
credits. Having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex.
Then, on a second monitor, you'll watch the next hour of this video while you play the game. Perfection.
I'm already playing another game. Thank you, though.
To say thank you for being a friend.
Oh, okay. So maybe I won't get.
Go on
maybe I won't get as anxious watching this video because it's pretty funny.
Take care of my family for me.
Don't worry, We'll take care of your family.
Get it. Add open. Collins is still in the dark, unable to move. His left arm was pinned underneath his torso, his right wedged by the rock ceiling above. Beneath him, sharp crystal shards dug into his skin. Ice thawed, traced across the ceiling, and dripped down directly onto his face.
Oh, at least he has water.
Underneath him. The water was a consistent 54 degrees.
Oh, cold.
Floyd tried to breathe calmly in the concentrated dark. When he did attempt to shuffle, more gravel and rocks would tumble from above and pile onto his feet, so nothing would work. He clawed at the cave walls till his fingertips were bloody, and he realized that there was only one option left.
Death.
Call out for help.
To who?
But wait. Who is Floyd, and why did he even go into a dangerous cave?
Yeah, we already started
Floyd
this story.
Floyd has been exploring the caves of Kentucky.
Is that Harry Potter?
Since he was merely 6 years
Is that Daniel Radcliffe?
And as he grew up, he gained a reputation for being a very
That's not Daniel
daring
Radcliffe
caver. He would dive into some hole on one side of town, and
he would dive in some hole in town, pop out in another hole.
Embroiled in the Kentucky Cave Wars.
What?
Now, there's way too much to go into here, but the summary version is there's
a lot of caves in
network
Kentucky.
of interconnected caves called Mammoth Caves. It's actually the largest cave system in the world.
Oh, that's cool.
And there's a city right in the middle of it.
Oh,
Cave City. Real name.
Yeah.
So of course
real
there
original.
are dozens of cave entrances on private property all over the place. Now, farmland in this region has very poor soil, and things do
because
not
there's
grow
fucking
well here.
caves everywhere, I imagine.
Tourism as a source of income quickly became the prominent thing.
That's
However,
real smart of the town, actually.
There are a very large number of caves, but there are only a limited number of tourists.
So which ones are gotta make the best caves?
Visit my cave. No.
Real silly.
Visit my cave. Big signs were erected saying, tourists, come to me.
Cave is open. My cave never closes.
But then competitors would respond by saying, hey,
never
by the way,
caves
we're
in.
Open, but
Earth
don't go
never
to that one
moves
over
here.
there. It's really shitty. In fact,
That
it's
cave
dangerous.
sucks.
This kept going further.
That cave
By the end, they were
blows,
blocking off the trail
and not in
to
the
each other's
cool way.
property,
My
leaving
cave
each
will
other in
suck
the
you
street,
off.
and
Alright, now we're
hiring
just
people called
fighting.
Cappers, who would dress up as policemen and tell tourists, no, you can't go in there.
Can't-
What? No, it's illegal.
It's
Despite the
dangerous.
fierce competition, Floyd found a cave on his property and he started advertising it to tourists.
Got my
Of
own
course,
cave.
Very few came.
Yeah, it's a.
Alright, he thought. What if I found something really special and unique? Then
See, there's
surely
no
people
even
would have to come to
investors.
my cave
This
to
man
see it.
would
So
go to his
he'd
own
explore
cave,
and
crawl
explore
through these
until
terrible
he found
tiny ass
this
things to
hollow.
get to this
It was filled
room.
with big gypsum crystals.
Big
And
gypsum
when you were in
crystals,
there,
just a
it
huge
felt like
gypsum
a
crystal,
completely
right?
alien world.
How the fuck
But
are you
it
getting
was
other
barely
people
accessible.
into
This
here?
small tunnel is the only way in. He would need to dig for months to open it up to tourists, but he knew he could do it. Back to the competition. They knew the value of this cave. They knew the potential, they wanted it for themselves, and they wanted Collins gone. One time, five
Well,
of them
fair,
just
if
wandered
Collins
onto
dies
Floyd's
in the
property
cave-
and demanded he hand over the lease.
What?
When he
No.
refused, they just started beating the shit out of him. This only stopped when
Rip
Floyd's
Collins.
brother, Homer, marched out with a shotgun and chased them all off.
Just
But
kill him.
Floyd
It's like
was
Red
not
Dead.
deterred.
Just
He
beat
spent
the
12
shit
hours
out
a
of
day,
him, man.
every
It's
day
so funny.
for months, clearing gravel and stone, chipping away at that passage. He would open it up to tourists, make his cave an incredible attraction, and make
Why wouldn't
his
he
dreams
open up,
come
like,
true.
I don't, the squeeze more or something? Why wouldn't he do that?
So there's Floyd in the dark,
Yeah,
yelling out for
the
help.
idiot.
He's at the start of a very tiring loop. Sleep, wake, yell. Sleep, wake, yell.
Oh, that's
Hours
awful.
passed. His voice
He
gave in.
sleeps for
Arms
hours at a
tingled
time.
numb. Pain radiating up his ankle. Here he remained in the dark for the next 23 hours.
Cool. Awesome. That's what I want to do with my time. Be stuck in a cave like this for 23
Quickly,
hours
you might
in
wonder,
these conditions.
how come no one's come for him after 23 hours?
Because it's the fucking old
Well,
times.
Sand Cave resides on a
It's also a
200
cave!
farm.
It's a
There are several
cave!
homes on this property with other families. One of them, of course, is Colin's house, where Floyd's father, Lee, resides. Now,
How many
Lee
fucking
and Floyd
bitches are coming out to
constantly get into
caves?
fights about how to run things. Lee wants his son to concentrate on farming, and Floyd wants to concentrate.
Dad, there's the
on
farmland's
cave
terrible.
building.
There's caves. These
Arguments
caves
would
make the
often
land
get
terrible to farm on.
And Lee was also a bit of a drunk. It was doubtful that he would even notice if his son Floyd was missing. Also not helping
Cool dad.
things, Floyd regularly lodged at 2 other homes on the farm.
Oh, cool.
So when he didn't return to one host, they would presume that he was staying with the other.
Yeah, but at
And
a
even
certain
worse than
point,
that,
right?
He had recently spent 30 hours in a cave.
Never mind.
So disappearing for
family.
this length of time wasn't seen as abnormal.
It is abnormal.
Regardless, around the 23-hour mark, a few locals started to suspect that, hey, something might be wrong, and they went to check up on him. And here, they spotted his jacket, still hung up. Unusual. They went
See?
However, there was only one person small enough
Help.
to make it as far
Like, help.
as the turnaround room. This was
And he was
a
like, nope.
17-year-old Jewel Estes.
Local
He
team.
refused to go into the squeeze, but it was
Fair.
close enough to call Collins' name. And Collins yelled back.
Oh, thank God he was found.
Estes emerges from the cave.
Okay, we know he's trapped, and we know where he is.
So, locals started to gather outside.
Thank God.
Out of my way. Say a bunch of men
Out
who
of
would
my
each
way.
show up and take turns heading into the cave in an attempt to reach Collins. But
But they
once
get to the
reached
turnaround room, and they're like,
room,
nope.
Nope. Nope.
they would fail to reach him, emerging from the cave, soaked in mud and cursing. Out of my way, they would say as they were heading in the reverse direction. So a few
Like,
more
fuck that
hours
shit.
passed.
Fuck that guy.
Word would spread around town. Dozens of locals from Cave City started to gather outside.
Oh, man, there's a man in the cave. Holy shit.
Over in Louisville, Floyd's 22-year-old brother, Homer, he gets a phone call.
Hey, your brother's stuck in
hello?
a cave.
I see. Ah, my brother. He's trapped in a cave?
Yep, got it.
I'm on my way.
Homer jumps on a
He's
coach
like, "Fuck."
and makes his way to Floyd's cave.
He's been in there for a
Struts up
while.
to the scene. Dozens of men are standing around outside. He ignores them all and marches right into the cabin, still wearing his city clothes.
It just
He
goes
makes his
right
way
on in.
Down the chute, through the narrowing passages, down on his hands and knees towards the turnaround room. And when he arrives, he does not hesitate.
Yeah, my fucking brother's
He
in there.
squeezes into the hole, scrambles his way through.
Never mind,
and
cool
lands on
family.
The other side. He sees Floyd below and slides down to meet him.
Floyd!
Sup?
Sup.
Probably wasn't that casual.
Yeah, he probably, yeah.
Thank God you're here.
Homer took a moment to shine his light around the area and assess the situation. It was not good.
Yeah.
This rock formation is going to prove almost impossible to work around. Alright, so let's have a look. Floyd is here.
Yep.
The rock is here,
Yep.
pinning his ankle. He's surrounded by rubble, and there's a pocket of gravel above him, ready to fall.
Cool.
However, because this opening is so small, there are only two viable ways of reaching Floyd and that gravel. Option 1, the most obvious, feet first. But if you do this, you have to kind of squat, and your own torso obstructs access to
You're
the
just
rubble.
like, you're too
Otherwise,
big. Don't get it.
2, come down head first.
No.
That will give you better access, but you're trying to move hundreds of pounds of gravel upside down.
Yeah.
Worse yet, there's barely an inch around Collins on either side, so good luck getting your arm down near Floyd's ankle to actually free him from the wedged rock. Homer calls back to the less daring rescuers.
Oh,
standing
Caterpie.
behind
Hell
him.
yeah, Caterpie.
Quickly! Some food and drink!
They send it through. He hand feeds
Hey,
his brother
hey,
a
bro.
pint of coffee and a total of 9 sausage sandwiches.
Nice.
Feeling better?
Here's a bunch of glizzies.
Homer went to
Hey,
town.
bro,
He
here's a
began
bunch of
removing rocks
glizzies.
and gravel, tiny scoop at a time, with the help of an old syrup can.
There it is. In picture. In color, even. Here's some
For the
glizzies,
next
bro.
8 hours he toiled, first with hands, then, once enough was cleared, using a crowbar to scoop behind his brother, scraping away sharp protrusions as he went. It was slow progress. Virtually futile. As soon as he removed one rock or scoop of gravel, another would tumble from above and land in the new absence. And it was exhausting work. By
Yeah.
sunrise, Homer's arms and back were
Oh,
naked.
the sun has power.
His lungs
Please.
burned. He was
Please.
losing hope. Homer emerged hours later, shivering violently, skin bruised from his fingertips, but the cave barely yielded at all.
Yeah, it's a cave.
However,
It doesn't
something
yield.
new. By the time Homer reached outside, he was greeted by a sea of approximately 100 men and women standing around, drinking, squabbling, and talking big game about how they too were going to save Floyd.
Yeah, sure.
The press was also present to help people gawk from afar. Now, Homer recuperated at a small tent near the cave's
They
mouth.
just set up a camp around here? They just set up a camp around the cave.
Strangers immediately.
And again, only
crowded
one
around
person
him
so far
to
has
ask
gone
innocent,
in.
but frankly, frustrating questions. And
Yeah,
offer unsolicited,
invasive.
obvious advice,
Yeah.
as well as wildly impractical solutions. He should try untying his shoes, said one.
Yeah.
No, we should send him down with a contortionist who's got a mallet and a chisel.
Yeah.
We should jerk him off. Right, guys? All right, I made that
We
third
should
guy up.
jerk him off.
You get the idea.
We should
And
do.
they started
Listen,
to
he's
argue
probably his hands are
about
bruised
the plan.
up. We should just
Hey,
jerk
how
him
are
off.
you done? One quick form, insisting that it was a great idea, and another saying, no, the explosion will kill him,
Yeah.
and the weight of the new rocks will surely crush him. They fought for a while until they started arguing about gas torches, which
What?
will cook him or asphyxiate him, or the gas will poison him.
What?
But by far the most common suggestion, of course, was amputation. Never mind that the foot
Of
itself was
what?
unreachable, and never mind what the blood loss and shock would do to Floyd's weakened body, and never minding even more that Floyd was strongly reluctant to the idea.
Yeah.
All of the squabble
How-
would not have gotten
amputate
on Homer's
what?
nerves, except that not one of them would just brave the damn cave and continue shoveling away the
Hold on, I
gravel.
gotta turn off the
The formula
webcam real
was
quick.
always the same. Brave heroes go in with food and supplies, then reach the turnaround room and immediately lose their nerve, then dump the food just outside the hole, and then return back outside and go, oh, absolutely. No, he says, thanks for the food. Thank you so much.
He was like, "Oh my god,
Yum, yum.
I did such a
No one
great job."
would go through that squeeze. Dozens more men would try. All of them would fail.
They wouldn't even try. You can't fail something you don't
9
try.
a.m. So far, Homer has been the only person to have reached Floyd. And that would continue to be true until here we are at the
thank
Louisville
God.
Courier.
Someone
There's
new?
A spirited young newshawk named William Miller.
Hello,
He's
William.
talking to his boss, and he's trying to convince him that it's a great idea for him to cover the story of the man trapped in the cave.
Listen up, boss. I'm hearing talk of a man in a cave. He's stuck down there, and I want to get down there.
I
too.
want to get to the bottom of it.
nitty-gritty here.
I want to get to the bottom of it,
Some
Chief.
good PR, Miller. I'm in, but I want us to sponsor that rescue. Picture this. Man saved from cave by Louisville Courier, the finest newspaper in the state. Plenty
Advertising.
of business.
We're doing
24 Fahrenheit here,
we're
boss.
doing
I'll make it
native
happen. I'll get
advertising
down there,
here.
too sweet.
So off Miller
Get in
goes
there, Miller.
to Floyd's
We
cave.
have native advertising to invent right now.
Back over at the cave, Homer is sitting outside trying to recuperate as Miller wanders up. He glares at the man in his city clothes and answers every question with either a grunt or a one-word answer.
Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
Finally, he gestures to Sand Cave.
Listen, you want more information? The hole's right behind me. Why don't you go take a look yourself?
Now, Miller is only 21, but he is a slender and determined man. He takes on the challenge.
He's like, fine,
So
you
he
know what?
removes
Fuck
his
it.
suit, drapes himself in coveralls, and grabs a lamp.
Nice.
Miller slowly enters the cave. He finds himself stepping in puddles and having to correct his balance against the ever-softening walls. These were accumulating problems thanks to the gawkers outside who had lit campfires all around the entrance. That caused snowmelt, and the stable environment of the cave is starting to shift.
Oh no.
But Miller makes it further than most. And all that's
He gets a
left
turnaround
is
cave.
that final squeeze.
Gets to the
and he's
squeams.
there. He stops. He takes a moment and decides to call out to Floyd.
Floyd!
Hearing there is someone on the other side, he feels ashamed not to try. So he closes his eyes and moves forward.
Oh,
His
fuck yeah,
slender
Miller.
figure begins inching through. The crystal gypsum cuts into his elbows and tugs at his clothes. He
Probably
gets
shouldn't
snagged.
have brought
He's
the keys.
fluttering through the pools of muddy water. He stops, collects himself, and pushes on.
Nice.
He can barely inhale. If he gets stuck in here, he can only hope that someone else can come in from behind and pull him out.
Only
by the
one
But
other
eventually,
motherfucker
he
is,
makes it through.
is gonna come
Fantastic. He's now standing on the edge of a 10-foot pit, and he clumsily bumbles his way down. He sat right next to Floyd, ready to interview him.
through. Hey, buddy.
But Floyd didn't really answer
I'm
any
a
of his
journalist.
questions. In fact, he was incoherent.
Yeah, dude.
At the moment,
he's
is
probably
sitting in
insane.
a pool of water that is 12 degrees, slowly sapping his body temperature. He is dying from exposure. The cold is diminishing Floyd's mental faculties.
Oh my gosh.
And he can barely make sentences.
Rip Floyd.
So Miller took a few mental notes, and he left.
He was like,
He
all right,
worked his
later.
way back through the squeeze, past the turnaround room, and out into the daylight.
Hey,
He
your
is
brother's
covered in
your
mud
brother's
and
dying.
scratches and numb head to toe. And when Homer saw, his hope reignited. Someone else had made it to Floyd.
You and me. Together, we can get Floyd out of there.
If Miller hadn't gone to that cave, there's a good chance that Floyd's story would have remained an obscure footnote
That's
in the
cool
back
as shit.
pages.
I'm so glad
But the interviews
Miller went
and
in there.
first-person accounts gave the audience a glimpse of something real. Fear, hope, desperation, the full range. And so, from Los Angeles to New York, Floyd's story was picked up everywhere and described the Kentucky man's plight in sensational.
Who's Miss McCurdy?
It was also
Well, she's
the
not
era
guilty,
when
whoever she
radio
is, but I
became
wonder
a
what
regular
her
feature
story is.
for regular Americans. Radio allowed something new: hourly updates, letting people get
Oh, it's like TV.
engrossed
Oh, dude,
into the
American
story.
propaganda. Here it is,
So,
American
mostly
media.
thanks to Miller, the
Yay.
story of Floyd over the next week would grow and grow, seemingly frothing over into every aspect of American life. The press at large would be clamoring over each other for every little extra scrap of detail they could
Like
get
the
about
mixed
Floyd.
media. The mixed media
And
is nice.
everybody wanted
As
to
as a user of
Will
mixed media
this
myself,
man make
real
it?
smart. Appreciate it. Real creative.
Back outside the cave, someone new enters the scene.
Hello.
Lieutenant Robert Bird, a thin but strong.
Are you gonna go in?
33-year-old
A third
Louisville
person now?
firefighter. Like Miller, he was able to navigate the passages of the cave and brave the squeeze.
Nice.
Scratched up pretty good and drenched in cold, muddy water, he managed to get through. He grabbed the rope and confidently lowered himself to Floyd's position. It was not an optimistic sight. Floyd's condition was deteriorating.
Well, we've got a heck of a problem here, but I think I can get you out with a rope.
Floyd nods in approval.
Go on.
Gonna tie it
I'll
around
just
your
pull
neck.
Your bloody leg off.
Just pull my leg off then. Get me out of here.
Burden returned to the surface and faced the crowd. He announced,
Hey guys,
We will attempt
we're gonna hang him.
a rope pull.
The crowd murmured. It was dangerous. It would certainly break his foot and could altogether pull it off. If there are jagged rocks, you'll fill it, the poor man. Amongst the crowd, a doctor stepped forward. A rope pull could stretch his internal organs and cause them to rupture. You'll kill him. But Floyd is dying of exposure down there.
Well, he's, yeah, it's like he's already
Becoming
dying.
desperate. Burden put caution to the
He
side.
either dies
The time
in
for
there or
strategy
dies
is
out
over.
here.
Now we try brute force.
Well, okay, it's been a few hours. Okay. Alright. That's horrific. You didn't need to surprise me with that. Alright, now we're underwater. Fit? What is happening? Are we seeing Philip's death? I mean, whole life, like before? What is this Hellraiser shit? Is he drowning? What is... What is happening? This. Alright, here's the Eye of Oblivion. Okay. Oh, thank God. We saved him. Oh, okay. Oh my
After
God.
79 hours in the cold water, he is delirious, fading in and
Oh
out
my
of
gosh.
Homer
What
gave
the
his brother
hell?
some coffee and fed him a couple of ham sandwiches.
Okay,
That
I
warms
don't-
him up and gives him a bit more energy.
Don't have any
and he comes
glizzies
back
for you
to
this time.
lucidity.
Oh, much better.
I'm gonna put the special harness around you. Burden and Miller, they're here too. We got 3 more boys right up the cave, and they're all ready to pull as
We got
hard
boys.
as they can to get you out of here.
We got cave
Floyd was
boys.
frightened.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna hurt.
He gave his brother some whiskey and a strong sedative to calm his nerves.
Oh, nice.
And also to help him withstand the shock in case his foot is destroyed. Floyd took the opportunity.
Do you think his
to
foot's gonna
appreciate
get
being
destroyed?
surrounded by friends and
Chat.
family.
Go on. Do it.
All right,
I'm
strap 'em
nervous.
up.
Homer tied the harness around Colin's chest.
Oh, bird,
and
no.
lifted the rope.
Oh, man. Ready?
Above, Miller is crouched at the top of the pit.
Ready?
Ready?
Burden clenches the cord from further up the cave.
3,
The
Yep.
rope goes taut.
2,
Uh-huh.
Do it.
1.
Oh,
Instinctively, Floyd gasps. The force of 6 men pulled against the clutches of the cave. Floyd began to scream. His body was being pulled up from the rubble. The grapple was beginning to shift. Burden clenched his teeth. Floyd screamed harder as well. Now, Floyd was trapped in a supine position, but the direction of the rope caused an upwards force that wrenched him vertically. His torso was being compressed and bent against the ceiling of the trap. It would kill him. Floyd's screaming intensified, and through gasps was begging them to stop. The screams filled the echoing cave, but it did not stop. The agony
Oh,
continued
gosh.
on and on
Oh, no.
with no progress.
Oh, no.
Enough! You guys are killing him!
Homer pulled in the
said
opposite direction to give his brother some reprieve. Somehow, Homer mustered the strength to altogether wrench the cord from the other men's hands. The rope went slack. Homer, Floyd, and the rope lay limp on the cave floor.
Oh my God, my
panting and
chest is hurting.
exhausted. No progress had been made.
Oh, my chest was hurting.
The cave would not let this man go. The futility of the situation sank in, and all they could do was leave for now and reassess. Everybody was shaken by the experience. Burden fainted
This
as
one
he
have power?
crawled towards the exit.
No.
Most of the other men had to be carried away. Outside, the crowd had grown to 200.
Oh,
They
man.
buzzed and asked useless questions, and Homer walked dejectedly past them. He sat by thinking what he could do.
Kill
The
his
cause
brother.
seemed hopeless.
Mercy
Homer?
kill him.
Then, someone showed up
Hello.
who could turn things around. He looked up to see a childhood friend of both his and Floyd's, Johnny Gerald.
Hi, Johnny.
Gerald knew more about cave rescues than most.
Ooh.
In fact, just that summer prior, he had helped untangle Floyd from a different snag. He was just the man for the job.
Alright, let me go see him. Well,
He's like, my
look
turn.
who it is.
Floyd perked up immediately.
Floyd's like, oh shit!
Thrilled to see Gerald.
You son of a
Alright,
bitch!
Let's see what we can do.
Gerald
You
jumped
son
out.
of a bitch,
For the
where
next
you
3
been?
hours, Gerald went back to the original plan
That's
of
so
prying
funny.
away rocks. His stamina was good, and progress was surprisingly good as well. For several more hours, he continued. Moving
God Gerald's
stone
here.
after stone. New one would fall in its place, and he'd move that one too. By
Not-
midnight,
not-
he had enough room
not
to shift
discouraged
position
at all.
and clear some of the gravel that was at each side of Floyd's body. Gerald would spend several more hours scooping. And it worked. For the first time, Floyd's torso was now available.
Nice.
Then his hips.
Hell
his
yeah.
upper thigh. For the first
Oh
time
my God,
in over
Gerald.
90 hours, Floyd was able to wiggle his arms, his hips, and even that trapped right leg, though it was very painful to do. In that one session, Gerald managed to move a half-ton of
Holy
rock. But
shit,
there was still a
dude!
lot more to go.
Gerald, are
And
you
that
even a
rock by
real
his foot
person?
was still holding him in place. By 2 a.m., Gerald was spent. He needed rest. And he
Is
was
Gerald
ready
even
to head
real?
back outside.
He's like, hey guys, I did like most of the
Tomorrow,
fucking work.
You're gonna be a free man.
I did a lot of the fucking work.
Now here you might think that things will become straightforward.
Probably not.
They did not. Now that that space had been cleared, Burden became convinced that if he could get down that passage again, he could free Floyd with another rope pull.
No.
Fate deciding with both feet or just one. But when Burden tried to enter the cave again, he was sternly rebuffed by the locals. They were playing gatekeeper. They had been specifically instructed to not let anyone in, and they were especially opposed to Burden making another rope
They're like, no rope
after
pull.
word spread about the disaster of the first attempt.
He's gonna
He
die.
tried to reason with them.
Let me try the rope pull again. It'll work this time.
He's like,
wouldn't
you know,
die.
last time it almost
Instead,
killed them, but
they
I think
shouted
this time we
obscenities
got
and
it.
shoved him in the other
Alright,
direction.
they don't need to be doing that much.
Meanwhile, Gerald and Homer are incapacitated with exhaustion, and Miller was busy filing some paperwork for the Louisville Courier.
He's like back in
Nobody
Louisville.
else had the ability or the authority to take action, so Floyd spent all of that morning alone.
Hello? Is anyone there?
No.
Help? Hey.
Hey. Just like the
Word
hey.
spread about Floyd. Miller's reporting had been picked up by the AP Newswire, and they distributed it amongst their hundreds of partnered newspapers. For Miller, it would be the biggest moment of his career. But he didn't stop to pay it mind. He spent the day hatching a rescue plan. Miller descended into the cave and set to work. When he entered, he found that the team before him had strung light bulbs all through the cavern, leading all the way down to Floyd. Very handy. A bulb was also put around Floyd's neck to keep him warm and make sure that he was never again left in the dark.
Nice.
Miller popped down to Floyd.
Where you going? Why you wander so far away?
Ah, Floyd, fancy seeing you here,
Hey
buddy.
Miller, good to see you
Reusing
again.
that syrup tin, he started offloading gravel into buckets. Those buckets were then passed up and down the cavern. And so it went on for the next 2 hours. Miller stopped for a break. He took some bread, milk, and whiskey, and sharing it with Floyd, they started to get to talking. Floyd had
You ready
been
for
in
that
cave
interview
for
yet?
over
It's like Bug
100
Snacks.
hours now. And seeing everyone working together, Floyd was overcome with a sense of hope and relief. And so he began spilling his heart out to Miller.
Oh,
Here is what he is quoted in the newspaper.
I believed I would go to heaven. I can feel that I'm to be taken out alive and with both my feet. I kept thinking, what would happen if the rock above me would fall? It caused me to shudder. I kept thinking to drive my mind to something else, but it wasn't much use. I couldn't do much to help those who came to help me, but I knew that a lot of people were willing to do all in their power. It gave me courage. Tuesday morning, I thought to myself, 4 days down here, and no nearer freedom than I was on the first day. How will it end? Will I get out? I couldn't think of it.
you've been in there for 4 days and
I've
you're like,
faced
I
death
think I might just
before.
die in here.
It doesn't frighten me, but it is so long. Tell them I am not going to give up.
Nice.
Tell them I'm going to fight and be patient and never forget them.
Oh, what inspiring words.
Meanwhile, Floyd's story
That is
kept
so
growing.
inspirational.
Pedestrians would gather around corner store windows to read the latest bulletins. The press began using giant typefaces, commonly only reserved for declarations of war. Churches in all of the nearby counties were holding services for Floyd. Theaters even interrupted their shows to update the audience.
Just in the
At
middle of
time,
the show.
President Coolidge was in charge.
Oh,
and his
Coolidge was like,
Secretary
yo,
of
this
Commerce was a
story,
geologist.
this story's got a
Herbert
cool
Hoover.
edge to it.
Now, Mr. Hoover
And then
followed the
everyone
story
was
very
like,
closely, and so it was likely that the president did too. Even Congress paused session to ask about the latest news from Sandcave.
I don't believe
By
that
the
at
end,
all.
the Floyd Collins incident would
I feel like I'm
explode
just,
into
I'm
the
ingesting more
third
American
largest
propaganda here.
non-political story between
But it's about a
World
cave
War
that
I
eats people,
and
so I
World
mean...
War II. All of this excitement brought an inundation of people to Cave City. Old population, 690. Yawn. New population, 10,000.
Oh, but damn.
Hotels ran out of food. Residents turned their homes into makeshift hotels.
Floyd is still in the
charging
cave right
sizable
now,
premiums
and
to let
we're
people
just
nap in their
the
bathrooms.
capitalism
The banks
machines keeps
quickly
on
ran out of
rolling.
on-hand
Everybody,
cash, and
a man is dying right
500
now.
automobiles impatiently sat backed up for
He's
2
being
miles
rescued,
from
but a man is
20
dying
different
right now.
states to drive onto the Collins farm and turn their pristine
No,
green pastures
dude.
into swampy parking lots.
No, dude, the
Deep
the
below all those
caves.
tourists, there's Miller trying to free
Oh
Floyd.
no.
Alright, a little bit of setup. Floyd, Miller, some remaining rubble, rock. For anyone to lift the rock by hand would be impossible because Floyd's body obstructs the hole. Miller grabs a crowbar and shoves it through the gap. Now he's going to lever it off Floyd's foot. Cool. The crowbar is now wedged against the rock. Next, he takes a jack. He positions it on top of the crowbar
Okay.
so that it will be forced against the ceiling. However, problem.
Yeah.
That jack is too big. It doesn't fit. Miller
just-
yells up the tunnel for a smaller one, but this took some time. And when it arrived, too small. Won't reach the ceiling.
Too
But instead
small.
of settling
Oh
for another
man.
one, Miller takes 2 blocks of wood and bolsters
Where'd you
them
get 2 blocks of
underneath
wood
the
from?
crowbar.
Just there's
Right,
stone
so the
or all
crowbar now
around.
sits
Whatever.
higher, it fulcrums against the blocks, and the jack is sitting on top. All Miller has to do is expand the jack, which he will do using this spanner, holding it at the very tips of his fingers. Sounds easy.
No.
It's not. But that's the plan. Let's get him out of here.
That's the plan.
Turned the wrench.
I'm
The
so
jack
nervous.
Expanded, and the crowbar took strain. The whole thing slid apart with a pang. Floyd wasn't hurt, but Miller was contorting and exerting his whole body from back to fingertip. They tried again. Same result. Miller tried a new angle. Maybe this time. The jack pressed. The tension increased. And this time, the rock
It held?
moved. It fucking moved.
It fucking
With each
moved.
turn, the stone shifted a little more.
The narrator
Miller's
swore.
hands shook with adrenaline, his face and body dripping with sweat. Pang. One of the blocks slipped, and the wooden tower went sideways. The rock painfully slammed back down on Colin's foot.
You'll get it next time, Miller. Try again.
Miller did. Again. And again. Adding blocks, taking them away. New crowbar position. Changed the jack position. Every angle. All while Floyd was there, cheering him on.
My
For the
leg
next
is
4
breaking.
hours he tried. No progress. Miller was exhausted. He couldn't do this on his own, but he was the only one slim enough to get in through the gap. The group decided to concede for now and return to the surface. They would take just a small break, but it looked to everyone like there was a clear way to get this man out.
Yeah.
So Miller and Burden crawled back through the mud and the whines of the cave. As they made their way through, the cave was visibly sagging. The ceiling
Oh,
seemed
no.
lower. Parts were harder to navigate than before, especially now with their bruised and purple hands. But they made it outside.
Because of all these
Fresh,
fucking people
early
here who are
morning.
obsessed with this
here is
spectacle,
where they agree
and they
with
don't
the new
care
sign.
about just like the people that are like
Dozens
actually
of
involved.
soldiers. The
Soldiers.
National Guard had arrived.
What?
In addition to the National Guard, a new figure was joining the story, Henry Carmichael. Now,
Yeah.
Carmichael was the general superintendent of the Kentucky Rock Asphalt Company.
Uh-huh.
He had been on site since Tuesday, and he was
Okay.
appalled at how primitive the rescue attempts had been.
What the fuck do you want
After
from
Miller
them? We're
and Burnett
civilians!
exited, Carmichael sent 2 men into Sand Cave to assess the structure's stability. They soon came back with a report.
It's
It
awful.
was not good.
It's awful, sir.
Near the final squeeze, large cracks had formed. The ceiling was beginning to droop. Alright, so the following is a recounting of events from one of Carmichael's men, Casey Jones. Casey and another
Fucking
worker
sucks
spent
in there,
about an hour
boss.
in the cave, surveying its condition, looking at the boards, the ceiling, the stability of the
Everything was
walls.
terrible, just garbage.
He continued deeper towards Floyd. He was fighting against his nerves. The shifting of the rock pinged his every instinct to flee.
Oh my gosh.
But he heard Collins moaning ahead, so he pushed himself on. He managed to make it through the squeeze and he arrived at the 10-foot pit. Seeing Floyd trapped, he tried to ignore the pebbles that were tumbling behind him.
Please, come down.
I can't right now, Floyd, but I will when I get back.
Behind Casey, his partner is begging to leave. Below Casey, Collins is pleading for help.
Please stay.
I'm so thirsty.
Okay.
Casey slid headfirst into the pit
Oh,
and
okay.
hastily ladled Floyd some coffee. Floyd rejected it.
Whiskey.
Rumbling intensified from above.
Whiskey?
And in that moment, Casey realized that this was not a plea for sustenance. Floyd knew that a cave-in was inevitable.
Oh.
Scared and approaching his 5th day
He
trap,
just-
he was completely
just
at his
whiskey.
wit's end. He knew he was about to be trapped in that cave, and he didn't want to be trapped alone.
Casey, come on, you'll get us killed.
Stay with me, please. Don't leave.
Casey looked into Colin's eyes, set the coffee down, and
And
pulled
left.
himself out.
He was like, fuck
He
you.
wiggled underneath the
I ain't
second
staying,
ceiling
Collins.
and crawled towards the turnaround room as fast as his limbs could scramble against the cave walls. He looked back to see the passage closing like a maw. Reflections from the bulb
my
shining
gosh.
around Floyd's neck were no longer visible. Instead, just sobs could be heard, muffled from behind the rocks.
Oh my gosh. Like a maw being eaten by the earth.
Miller and Burden awoke in the late morning.
Oh, hey, guys.
confident that today would be the day that they saved Floyd. They had some new equipment too. Some wire to wrap around the
Just-
wooden blocks to prevent them from slipping.
Found some wire.
And they changed their mind about that acetylene torch. They'll use it to burn away 2 rocks that had previously blocked their way. But when Miller got to the turnaround room,
Yeah, so it
all
was
of
caved
that
in.
optimism left him. The entrance to the squeeze was now just a pile of debris. Miller froze, staring at it for a long while. Then
Yeah.
he sighed and did the only thing he could think:
Dig.
attempt to move some of the stones.
Oh no.
But each adjustment led to more rocks just tumbling down and landing in that space. He persisted until... crack. A large chunk of clay landed onto his feet. Recognizing the danger, Miller returned to the surface.
Oh, it was clay, okay.
15 minutes later, he emerged from the cave with a bloodied up nose and bruises down his back and shoulders. Burden caught sight and races over to him. Miller just says, "For God's sake, just don't let Homer or anyone else back in there." Now, he didn't actually need to worry about Homer going back in there because he was sidelined with illness.
Oh, thank God.
But he did,
Caught,
however,
like, pneumonia.
need to worry about
Oh, not Gerald.
because he was furious. Gerald had warned everyone that putting dozens of people in Sand Cave would cause a collapse.
And
It
he was
certainly
right.
did.
And
The
he was
rest of
right.
that day would be wasted as men threw blame around and screamed at each other about
It's
how to handle
everybody's
the cave-in.
fault.
And
Not
Floyd
everybody.
spent the rest of
Oh,
that day
Floyd.
alone.
Oh, poor Floyd. Poor Floyd.
The surveyors continued checking the cave throughout the day. By the evening, Carmichael had ordered everyone to an assembly. Gerald took the floor. He was going to try one last daring rescue. He boldly announced his plan and an ultimatum.
Listen up. There's death down there. The walls and ceilings are crumbling. Unless you're determined to take the biggest chance you ever took in your life, Tell me now.
Fuck off.
And stay outside.
Leave. Oh,
Let's-
dude,
they told all the Gawkers to
999.
Get the fuck out of the cave. Clear
Exactly.
off.
Get
And
the
over
fuck
next
out of
8
here.
hours,
If you ain't here to
Gerald
help,
would enter
fuck
and leave the
off.
sand cave at least 5 times.
Oh,
chipping
I
away
never
at that
turned the
pile of
webcam back
debris.
on.
In the woods, men sawed trees and chopped logs to shore
I never
up the
turned the
cave
webcam
walls.
back on.
Underground,
Oops.
the crew
Oopsie
reinforced
doopsie. But
cracks
look,
and
we're at
brought in boulders with
999.
fresh strips of wood.
Don't worry.
Gerald assessed that about 4
Oh my
barrels
god,
of
do you
rocks
can you
would need to
imagine?
be moved,
Can you
and
fucking
piece by
imagine?
piece, they
Can you imagine if I found the shiny Wooloo and the fucking webcam was off? Oh my god.
made that happen. Steadily,
That would have been
they
awful
managed
for
to
me.
move enough rock to allow Gerald to get within earshot of Floyd.
I guess now we can just run from the Wooloo.
Bad news. We can't reach you. But hold on. We're coming.
Stone by stone, they continued. After a few hours, the light of the bulb around Floyd's neck was peeking through. A couple more hours, enough room for Gerald to squeeze through.
Okay, that's enough. Floyd, I'm going for now. But when I get back, I'm gonna get you out of there.
Exhausted but still determined, Gerald crawled back up the cave and marched to the men huddling outside.
Gather the equipment, and in an hour's time, it's gonna be me and Floyd coming out of that cave.
Come on, Wooloo, please one of you have to be shiny. Please.
Gerald entered Sand Cave for his final time. The walls had been reinforced,
For the final
but
time.
mud and water was accumulating everywhere. He waded through it and pressed on past the danger of the sagging ceiling. With determination on his face and a grease gun clutched in his right hand, he scrambled towards Floyd. But before the final squeeze, he stopped. It was all gone. The cave ceiling had crumbled once again.
Oh no.
Gerald stared motionlessly at the pile. Then he began to yell.
Floyd!
A rock disconnected from the ceiling and tumbled onto Gerald's
Oh.
head. Luckily, just a small one. He rubbed his scalp and called out again.
Floyd!
This time, a moan. It rumbled from the other side.
Can't hear you, Floyd.
Fearing that his friend was slipping out of consciousness, Gerald willed himself against the cave, launching the debris behind him with
No,
force.
you're just no.
He ignored the pain from being struck on the head and clawed at the stone pile. He carried on this way for several minutes, until a sharp, heavy rock dropped from the ceiling and landed squarely on his back.
Oh.
No more than 15 minutes later,
Oh no.
Gerald returned to the surface. Defeated.
No, Gerald. Oh, poor Floyd.
Only after the cave-ins did they start to think about all of the things that they could have done.
Wait, why didn't we rig a portable telephone line? That would have been incredibly simple here in 1925.
Yeah, why have we been running in and out to deliver updates?
Why didn't we give him an AM radio? He could have had something to listen to and receive messages of support from the public.
Wait, why don't we rig up a tarpaulin so we could lift his torso up so he wouldn't be slowly dying of exposure?
You know
Oh
what?
god, why didn't we run a feeding tube? That's also a technology we have in 1925.
You know what?
All
You know, hindsight's
late.
2020.
Now what?
Well,
The one
you know,
route
just-
to get to Floyd is closed forever. That meant 2 options.
Yeah, just rip.
Number 1, capitulation.
Cave
Surrender
wins.
him to the grave.
Cave victory. Flawless
Or
victory.
number 2, dig down from directly above Floyd. Now the prospect of digging from above seemed almost fanciful. At least it did in the beginning. But luckily, they had some help.
With the cave,
Owing
with
to
the
Miller's
fucking
report,
cave-ins.
Floyd had become practically the most famous person in the country. The
All he's
rescue
doing is
had
laying down
become
in a
high
cave.
priority for the governor of Kentucky. Lieutenant General Denhart enters the scene. He's been updated on the situation, and following shortly behind him is a small army of miners and engineers. He declared to the despondent crowd, "Gentlemen, I am here on behalf of the governor.
Oh, this is
the
so
purse
stupid.
strings of Kentucky are open. Take
Say the
this
purse
blank check
strings?
and bring that man out alive."
Okay. Thanks, government. About time you stepped in.
Floyd, in that cold, wet confine, could not have imagined the scale of the operation that was going on 55 feet above him. authorities assumed control of Colin's rescue.
Thank God.
Denhart gave Henry
The one time I
Carmichael
want the government to
lead
step
dig,
in a personal
and
matter.
Carmichael raced
Just
to
like
get
about
to work.
time.
He
These
enlisted his
poor
employees,
individuals have been trying
his fleet
so
of
hard.
expensive high-tech machinery. Professional groups were brought in from all across the state.
They're
Local
trying so
townspeople
hard
were
and their
mostly
morale is being
excluded.
crushed,
And
and
for
it's
the
like,
first
oh thank
time
God,
since Collins had
some
been
force
trapped,
with actual
work was now allowed to go
resources
ahead
is
in a
here.
systematic
Some
manner.
force
Everyone
with
knew the plan.
resources is now
Everyone
here
had something
to
do,
help us.
And everyone was working fast.
It's all a fucking political move.
But just as hopes were rising, they were once again dashed against the rocks.
Nice.
They had all of this state-of-the-art machinery shipped in and assembled by the engineers and rearing to go. And it was all worthless. See, the problem is, the cave drew air into it. These diesel-powered engines pumped out enormous volumes of choking exhaust.
Oh, nice.
Within a day's
Cool.
operation, the cave would
Collins
be filled
would be
with carbon
dead.
monoxide, and Floyd would be dead from asphyxiation. Just as quickly as solutions would arise,
Then
the
they-
cave would parry them away.
Dude, the
Collins
cave.
refused
The cave
to
has an
let
answer
this
for
man
every one
go.
of humans' inventions.
So engineers and miners had wasted hours assembling everything, only to realize that they had to pack it all up.
Everything
and
humans tried, this
because the
cave has a
digging
perfect
of a
answer for it.
55-foot shaft would be done with picks and shovels.
Nice. Just manpower.
Carmichael didn't know much about caves, but he knew a lot about quarrying, and he estimated that his team of 75 volunteers could dig and dredge at a rate of 2 feet per hour. If they worked around the clock, they would be digging directly into the spot where Floyd lays within 30 hours.
Oh God.
Now, is it possible that Floyd could survive for another 30 hours?
No.
Absolutely.
What?
Let's go. The
He's-
first
but he's
ton
dying.
was moved, and at first it was easy work. Just dirt.
How long has it
and
been
clay.
since how long has it
Carmichael
been since
understood
Floyd
well
has
that
had
this
food
was a
or
race
water?
against
How
time,
long has it
so
been?
he watched the men closely, and if they seemed to be slowing down, even a little,
No one's
they
seen
would be
him in
yanked out,
a
and
few
immediately
days.
A new worker subbed in.
Just dive right in,
Nonetheless,
champ. Get
the
on
pace
in there.
slowed. By 10 feet, the shaft narrowed greatly, which meant that only 2 men could work at a time. At 15 feet, they hit boulders. Pickaxes went in, and a system of pulleys and buckets had to be used to cart the rock out. Tracks were even laid to ferry the refuse to a dump site. Time passed. Hours passed. Night went to day. The day was hot. This was yet another problem, because it's early February, there's tons of ice still in the ground, and its exposure
hold on, Chad,
to
hold
the
on.
fresh midday sun meant that the walls of the shaft were softening and the ground becoming sodden. The pace of digging slowed. It was now only half a foot per hour. Most anyone could do was watch helplessly on the sidelines and pray. Interestingly, though,
Right,
there
messages
were a
been sent.
lot
Right,
of
messages
people
been
on the
sent.
sidelines.
Right.
Floyd wouldn't have believed that the space above him had turned into a literal carnival in his honor.
What is a fucking? Are
Vendors
you
showed up
kidding
to
me?
sell
Capitalism's
hamburgers,
happening on
hot
top of a
dogs, and
dying man right
souvenirs.
now. Are you
Families
kidding
pulled
me?
out over blankets to listen to hymns from local church groups. The local mountebanks sold moonshine and miracle cures. There was even a bloody juggler.
The fuck?
And
Oh,
old
what the
man Lee
fuck?
was
Oh, the
there,
control. I forgot.
walking around, shaking his jar, and soliciting donations.
For what?
But
Donations for
where were
what?
Herman and Burden and Miller during all of this? Okay, let's back up a bit. People did not properly
Right,
understand
okay. Thumbs-
exactly
right.
how Floyd was trapped, and the news didn't help much either.
Yeah, yeah, but they don't
So the
fucking know.
obvious questions started to arise. Why hasn't he been rescued yet?
Yeah.
Just clear some gravel or pull a rope. How is this so hard? Motive was attributed.
I heard they didn't even want to have him rescued at all.
Oh my god.
I heard that
Oh
they're
my
doing all
god.
of
I
this
hate this so much. I hate
And
America.
His activity of soliciting donations, remember from before, further inflamed rumors.
Donations for
I bet
what?
Floyd isn't even trapped in there.
These
Oh.
were all real rumors.
Oh
and
my
they got
God.
worse.
You know what? I've heard he comes out at night, and then he just goes back in the morning.
What the fuck?
Other rumors included
I heard that after Floyd went into the cave, someone murdered him.
This is stupid. I
Others
hate
say-
America. America's so
I think they're
stupid.
withholding food and water from him, so he dies.
No,
This
no,
whole thing
no,
is a
no.
fraud.
No
As
food
time
for
went on,
you
it was
until we
harder
get
and
more
harder to ignore
money.
the hoax claims. Then, people started to form righteous mobs, claiming the whole thing was a fraud, and they started to get nasty.
What the
In
fuck?
fact, 2 people even went to the telegraph office
This
and
is so
pretended to be
stu-
Floyd sending telegrams to his mother.
I hate
Here's what it
America.
said. Quote, "Please contradict statements that I am buried alive in Sand Cave. Stop. Tell mother I am all right. Stop. Am coming home.
Am
Stop.
coming home. America. Oh my
Floyd
god.
Collins." Naturally, the AP published these telegrams unquestioningly,
It's so
and now word is out to the press that he isn't actually in the cave after all. That made the
Who was
authorities
the first
look
dad to tell a
foolish
dad joke?
and
Probably
could
like
not go on. So,
God,
a hasty
maybe.
court-martial was arranged, and Homer, Miller,
this
and
is-
Gerald were summoned.
What the
They
fuck?
hold one session on Monday
What
and
the-
another on Tuesday.
What is
Lee
happening?
and everyone else is cleared of charges. A retraction is written, and things carry on.
Wasn't faking it, LMAO even.
Generators run.
Oh my, this
Pumps
is, oh my
churned out
god,
water.
dude.
Men continued working in
I cannot believe there is a
carrying
part
away the
in this part of this story of a man
They are
actually
strips of lumber to
dying.
shore up the walls.
And people in America just be like, it's a fucking hoax. I hate America. I hate America so much. American people have always
In
been
their
fucking
desperation, they
stupid.
resorted to dynamite.
They can be told the truth
stood
and then they're
lifted to
just
the
like,
boulders.
you know what? I don't fuck. You know what?
Despite
Truth?
all
What's
these grave
truth? I'm gonna
circumstances,
believe what I want.
people's
Americans have
spirits were
always been
high
fucking
because
stupid.
everyone was keen for their turn to dig, and because they had one
What
more
is it? What's
thing
Take
to
That
latch
America?
onto.
What is Take That America?
He
Maybe
is
we can watch that
probably
later.
still alive. Now, how do they know that? Okay, so remember that light bulb around Floyd's neck?
Yeah.
Well, it's powered by a simple
It's actually
copper wire.
keeping him alive.
Bare copper wire is subject to very minute fluctuations in resistance.
That light, if it ever
So,
goes, it's like a Charmander's
an
tail.
engineer
If
rigs
that
up
light
a
ever
radio
goes out, he
amplifier
dies.
To this wire to read
He
the
just
current and
actually
see those
dies.
small fluctuations.
Oh, you're listening for his heartbeat through the copper wire. Oh.
There they were.
Okay,
About
that's
20
cool.
Per minute. The rate of steady breathing.
Oh,
As his
breathing.
chest
I thought it like a
expands and
heartbeat.
contracts, they can read it from this device. And so
That's cool.
they kept going. And going. And
It's like
going.
Minecraft.
30 hours was
Me and the
original
girls
estimate.
playing Minecraft, and we
Now,
need diamonds.
144 hours had come and gone, and they were only at 44 feet. Then, rain fell.
Cool.
Rain that mixed with dirt to make mud.
Cool.
Much of which then froze to make ice.
Awesome.
Ice which expanded and damaged the integrity of the shaft walls.
Cool.
Slowing down with every hour, they continued. Many more hours passed.
Dude,
and
the
they were
cave is
getting
calling it an
close.
assist for
But it
Mother
was now
Nature. That's not cool.
15 days
The cave,
since Floyd
cave,
was
you
first
handle your
stuck in
own
that
battles,
cave,
all
and
right?
people had most
Don't call in the rain for this, you
That
bitch.
excitement in the newspapers
Handle your own battles.
was tempering
Humans,
down.
we're using
Visitors
everything we
began
have at our
clearing
disposal
out
to
from
defeat the
City.
cave.
Many still held on to hope, but their final lifeline, that light bulb, had burnt out.
Oh no.
And it wasn't possible to do any more readings on the radio amplifier without it. No one knew if Floyd was still alive. Another 51 hours would pass before, finally, they reached the 60-foot depth.
I'm in. Chisel.
I'm in.
The chisel was handed down. At 1:30
Like hacking.
PM
I'm in.
on Monday, February 16th. Sand Cave would open once again. For 17 days, Floyd had been trapped underground, stuck in the same position.
He's dead. 17
4
days? He's dead.
Without heat or light.
He's had
12 without food or water.
He's dead.
But maybe the dripping of the cave water had provided him with some sustenance?
No.
There are stories of people surviving harsher extremes.
Who?
Rescuers frantically tugged at rocks to widen the hole.
Name one
Everybody
person.
stood by, absolutely silent, peering into that hole. Ed flashed his light into the gap, then eased himself in. Brenner aimed his light around the room, and then, finally, at Floyd. The first thing he saw was a golden shimmer. It was not the light bulb. It was the reflection of Floyd's tooth.
Yeah, he's dead.
His mouth hung open. He was dead.
Yeah.
Brenner was helped out of the cave and he delivered the news.
Dead.
A coroner would later state that Floyd succumbed to exposure and that they had missed him by just 3 days, about the same time that the light bulb had gone out.
I told you that light bulb went out, he goes out. I told you.
But what would they do now with the body? The shaft walls were ready to fall inwards,
Just let
and
the
risking
wall just-
lives to remove a
He's
corpse
already buried.
seems just irresponsible. So the following morning, officials made a decision. Floyd would be entombed where he lay.
Yeah.
The cave would keep its victim.
Yeah. It won.
Now, this did not sit well with the family.
Well,
What could they
yeah,
do?
but like, what else are you gonna do?
The next day, they planned the funeral. The town emptied of people, and the shaft with Floyd at the bottom was refilled with soil.
Rip.
But that's not quite the end of the story. But if you hung on for this long, keep holding on.
Yeah, I'm
because
still here.
things are going to continue to get interesting.
Okay.
But first, let me do a wrap up of where everyone is and all
We
that
still
stuff.
got
Context,
9 more
context.
minutes of
the
this
Collins
video.
family already had financial hardship.
Yeah.
Locals saw Old Man Lee scouring the rescue site for glass bottles. But the owner of the land, B. Doyle, and supposed friend of Floyd, was wholly unsympathetic. He erected
Nice.
a sign on the highway which said, 200 yards away, the body of Floyd
Wholly
Collins is imprisoned
unsympathetic.
in Sand Cave. Then he began charging tourists 50 cents apiece for the opportunity to
8:47
gander
in
into the hole.
2022.
100 years later, Lee's dead. Let's call it even. Also, remember those claims of Kentucky being an open purse? Well,
It wasn't.
the state reneged on the deal. They refused to pay many of the rescuers, and most of them went home without any compensation.
They're like, nah.
Some of them did make some money out of the situation, though. They lucked into vaudeville gigs
Oh my
and roamed
God.
the country, giving their first-person account. Miller, however, received an astonishing offer.
Good job, Miller.
$50,000
Holy shit.
contract from the Chautauqua Lecture Circuit.
$8.1 thousand
$1,000 in today's money.
Holy
He declined.
shit.
He continued to work at the Louisville Courier Journal.
Oh, he turned it
The
down.
following year, his coverage of Floyd's story
He turned it
earned
down
him the
to keep
Pulitzer
working.
Prize.
He kept working where
And
he
the
wanted to
brother,
work. That's so
Homer,
nice.
He needed money and he agreed to do that vaudeville circuit.
Nice.
He stood on stage and regaled the audience about tales of his brother, their childhood, and the tragedy. But Homer made it known why he was up here on stage trying to get money. He had a mission.
I kept thinking of Floyd lying in the muck, where he had suffered beyond our power to imagine. I would never have peace of mind if he remained there.
He wanted
he
the
wants to
money
get him out.
dig Floyd up and get him out of that cave.
Give him a
couple of
proper
months later,
burial.
he had it. Alright, so back to Floyd. April 17th, 1925. 7 miners showed up to the scene. They began to dig. Within a week, they had arrived at Floyd. And this time, they approached from the other side of the rock formation. That way, they could remove the rock pinning Floyd's leg. They lifted him up from
That
his
bastard,
tomb
that
and laid him
bastard
down
rock.
on the fresh air above. April 26th,
Give him proper
1925.
burial.
Floyd was set to rest in the family cemetery.
What a good brother.
A stalagmite had been set as a headstone to mark out his plot. And there he lay. No, that's not actually
Never mind.
where it ends. Okay, this is where it gets
He
weird.
rises from the
2
grave.
years later, 1927. Times have been tough for the Collins. So
They
Floyd's
sell 'em.
dad sold Sand Cave to a dentist named Dr. Harry B. Thomas
Okay.
for $10,000.
Okay.
Now, Homer begged him not to.
Don't
because
do it.
At the time, the government was starting to buy up tons of land in the area and turn it into national parks.
Actually,
They
yeah.
had to pay at a very competitive rate. But Lee was becoming a bit old and senile by this point, and frankly, it's doubtful that he cared about Homer or Floyd or anyone else for that matter.
Fair.
So 100 years later, he's dead now. Let's call it even.
Let's call it
the
even.
point
He's
is,
dead.
In this land sale with Thomas, Lee agreed to a very odd clause. And that clause said, everything on that property belongs to Thomas. And should he wish, for example, to exhume a dead body
What the
and
fuck?
re-embalm it and put it on display in something really tacky like a I don't know, a glass coffin inside a cave. Maybe.
What the fuck?
And that would be his prerogative.
What the
One
hell?
sign, yes.
Lee!
And Thomas did exactly that. Doyle made Floyd's corpse a tourist attraction.
Oh my god.
That's right. 2 bits of gander, come and wonder at the incredible dead man who died in a cave. But to add insult to injury, it worked.
What?
Visitors returned to Sand Cave to gawk morbidly at Floyd. Within a few months, Thomas had turned Lee's failing farm into a successful business.
All it took is desecrating the dead.
Now, the rest of Colin's family,
Guys,
they try a number
if
of
you
times
ever
get
want to
Floyd
make
returned to
money,
them, including through the
just
legal system.
desecrate a corpse.
Somehow, incredibly, the judge ruled in Thomas's favor.
What?
And so, there he lay for the next 2 years. The cave was not done with Floyd.
What the fuck?
Until someone hatched a plan. 2 years later.
What the fuck? It's like a heist
outside
now.
Sand Cave,
What?
footsteps can be heard rustling through the brush. Now, we don't know who these 2 men are, but we know why they are here. To rob a grave. They sneak
Of
inside
what,
and
the
clamber
guy?
over the rocks in the darkness. Reaching Floyd's casket, they undo the latch and throw open the lid. There is his shriveled.
It's like a weekend with birdies. Weekend at birdies, whatever the fuck. They just
For
steal the
800
guy.
yards, they carry dear Floyd like a couple of sweaty Santas about to deliver a really terrible.
What the hell is happening?
Panting, out of breath, knowing that they're going to get caught any minute, they reach the Kentucky Green River hillside. There's no time. With a 1, 2, 3, they launch his
throw
body
him.
towards the river, and Floyd goes sailing into the air, up, into the starlit beyond, and landing in a bush. Oh, God. The 2 men flee from the scene. Now, the next morning, Thomas
Yeah.
notices that the body
Oh
of
my
Floyd is
gosh.
somewhat
The
missing,
desecration
and he
of this
contacts the
corpse
authorities.
never ends.
The police come, they dust the casket for fingerprints, and bloodhounds are given Floyd's scent and let loose into the hillside.
Oh my gosh.
A few hours later, they manage to find him
In
a
the
tangled up
bush.
mess near the river, but this time with a leg missing. That same one that was trapped under the rock. So,
the cave
despite
took
his
it.
protest, it had been amputated. Neither the leg nor the culprits were ever found.
The
And while
cave
it would
took
be nice
it.
to think that this was some well-intentioned duo that did this out of the kindness of their hearts to free Floyd, it's much more likely that it was an act of vandalism because Floyd was simply too much of a hot tourist attraction.
Oh my god, it was
The
a
following
fucking
day,
political
Floyd was
move.
cast back into the cave, back into his box, and it was covered by a metal lid, surrounded by a metal chain, and locked with a padlock.
Oh my
He was now
God.
more trapped than he had ever been. This cave had spun fate once again to make sure
That
that,
is-
its victims.
That is that is the worst possible way. That is the worst possible way your body can ever be treated. Imagine Philip. Imagine Floyd. Imagine Floyd Collins' life. Imagine his death. I don't think this cannot be real. Like, a lot of this has to be fucking, but just like I mean the presentation, but like what dentist buys the land and then it's like, oh, your brother, the one who died in the cave, the one that you as a person went through a huge emotional journey and you had to come to an acceptance that despite your best efforts and all of the efforts poured into this, all of the human strife and struggle that was poured into trying to save your brother, the brother that's buried, in the ground right beneath me right now, I'm gonna dig him up. I'm gonna dress him up like a pretty little doll. And then I'm gonna shove him in a glass coffin. And then I'm gonna make money off of him. And then later, after some well-intentioned Samaritans try to rescue your brother from my capitalistic desecration of the dead, I'm gonna put him in a metal coffin and lock it with a padlock and just leave it in the cave. What the fuck?
Victim would never leave. And so, time passed. Floyd's body would continue to decay. The rot from his body would eventually rot the casket too, and every decade or so, it would need to be replaced.
It's just rusted.
A few years later, he was no longer on display.
What the fuck?
But even then, he remained in that box for many more years.
Oh,
in 1961,
that poor man.
Floyd's cave was purchased by Mammoth Cave National Park, and it was closed to the public. There would be no more visitors. The entrance itself to Floyd's cave was closed with a steel gate and bolted, then welded shut. But the Collins family never gave up objecting to Collins' body being left in the cave. And here is where the story ends. In 1989, at the Collins' request,
89.
the National Park Service ventured into Floyd's cave. Continuing on a more than 60-year tradition, a team of people worked over the course of several days to remove him from the cave.
Thank God.
They took him out, left the cave, locked it
We're in
behind
color now.
and laid
Everything's
Floyd
in
to rest
color.
at the Mammoth Cave Baptist Church Cemetery. After 64 years in Sand Cave, he is now finally at peace. The end. Thank you to Wendigoon as Floyd.
If you don't let me out, I'm going to hire a gang of hitmen to come to your house and kill your family.
Samito as Homer.
The BTS meal McDonald's bag.
The BTS
I'm
meal.
hungry.
Give me the BTS meal.
Ordinary Things as Miller.
I'm enthusiastic, but would ultimately duck out the back exit.
Rusty Cage as Gerald.
Oh, well, hello there. Haven't seen y'all in a while. Welcome to my new home.
And many kudos as Burden.
Hey, buddy. You right down there? A little sleepy?
You little sleepy boy, you little sleepy boy, you little tired sleepy little boy.
Joseph, I'm a little sleepy guy.
You sleepy
Also,
little
by the
boy
way, in
down
case you're
there.
confused about the channels,
William.
this is how it works now. And do not forget, World of Tanks, World of Tanks. None of this would have happened if Floyd had got World of Tanks.
Floyd wouldn't have died if he was just playing World of Tanks. Oh my gosh. America. What a country. What a country where you can see a guy go from just a guy to a victim of capitalism.